I was asked to offer some insight on my experience in the twin flame union. I discovered that my husband and I are twin flames, and I think I kind of always knew it. I did not have the typical romantic, dramatic, uh, beautiful experience like you see depicted in The Notebook or, you know, um, Romeo and Juliet. That wasn't our story. Our story was one of extreme misunderstandings, betrayal, abandonment, rage, depression, pain, substance abuse, manipulation, maturity, immaturity. But despite some of the more harsher aspects, there were miracles. There was forgiveness. There was personal growth, emotional, psychological, and spiritual growth, emotional, spiritual, psychological, and emotional maturity. I grew in intelligence on every level, whether it was situational, partnership. I would not be who I am without my twin because he taught me how to live. And in exchange, I taught him how to love. And by deciding that no matter what it looked like, what it seemed like, what it felt like, I trusted God. And I knew that God was continuing to lead me back to Him. Even when everything else was saying no. Even before I even learned what a twin flame was, I trusted God. I knew that he was hurting. He wasn't well. I knew about sicknesses that he had, health concerns, before he even knew he had them. I saw him everywhere. If not his name, something he liked, he could call to me in my sleep. And I trusted God. And so being able to trust something outside of yourself, outside of the relationship, outside of the partnership, even if you're decided that you just want to be friends, trusting that the disturbances, the pain, the lack of proof, concrete evidence that this person even loves you, which is part of the most gut-wrenching and painful part of it, is the twin flame experience. He had to learn things on his own without me, and I had to do the same thing. And sometimes when he was ready to be vulnerable, I was not at all accepting of him. I wasn't on some high horse of like spiritual and moral um, authority. I wasn't better. I was petty and impatient, um, angry, defiant, and it always came down to trusting God. That even when I didn't want to see him, didn't want to be with him anymore, that when I would get the visions or get the knowing that he was thinking about me and that I was being asked by my spirit team to contact him, and for the reasons I was being asked, like whatever it was, to check on him or to ask him a question, to follow through with that mission with God. Nobody can really tell you how to approach your journey with your twin flame. It's something that you have to be able to look at what's going on in your life, look at your strengths and your weaknesses, and decide if you can handle it. Not every twin flame partnership end up in relationship, because it'll damn near kill you. It tests everything. You have to be able to see without your eyes and hear without your ears and speak without your voice. And it'll drive you about as close to madness as you can get. And I say that from experience, hospital experiences, therapist experiences. I'm not embarrassed about it. I had to learn how it's possible to integrate and love another person the way that my twin required me to do, because he needed to heal and I needed to heal, and he was bringing up every disorganized thought, every pain, every toxic attachment, every psychological component that I had learned from childhood. He triggered every terrifying aspect of that and made me have to face it. The things that, you learn, you run from this, you hide from this. He made me have to look it right in the face, because that's just what he was going through, and I was going to interpret it my way, and I had to stop and start interpreting it his way. I had to start living my life like him. I had to start accommodating him to what he needed, and he had to start accommodating and concerning himself with me and what I needed, and looking at life at how I looked at it. And it wasn't just about being open-minded. It was about choosing to put those walls down and say, it doesn't matter how ugly you are being towards me, how angry and hateful it looks on the surface. I have a deep knowing and empathy for you as a spirit, because spirits and souls don't have emotions. People and personalities that we choose have emotions. And whenever I hurt him, it hurt me. And whenever he hurt me, it hurt him. And we had to admit our frailties, our tears. We had to confront our character flaws, our vulnerabilities, and be willing to go past logic and religion and even the moral compass. I mean, I did things I never thought I stole a car for him, and I was not that girl, but I did it, and nothing bad happened to us. It was the test. And now I'm not saying you have to steal a car, but it was my test. Would you be willing to go against what you feel is wrong, or not do things that you feel is right, to make sure that your love is given to this person? And that's a terrifying thing. It's like being told to walk across a glass bridge and you can't see the glass. You can just see the water. And it's like, oh, it's glass. You can step on it. Yeah, it's a lot like that. So you have to get yourself right. I wish I had done more self-mastery work before, but you can't. But I can still say it. I can tell y'all that, if you haven't gotten into union with your twin flame, if you know who they are, if you don't, do your best to work on yourself. But they're going to bring things out of you no matter where you are, or life will. If you two are perfect, let's say you've done all your work and then you meet each other, your life will start falling apart. Things will just happen to test In contrast to the perfection of your union and your unity, the chaos will be brought. It's like dark and light. You can't really know it's light if you don't have dark, and you can't really know it's dark unless you have light and you can see the difference. So, and the growth, the joy, the peace, the way I love him, the way I'm able to see him as my husband, my best friend, my brother, my son. I can see him on all levels. The way he sees me as his best friend, his wife, his sister, his daughter, and has learned how to treat me. I wouldn't trade it for anything.